Welcome everyone. Welcome to all the faculty members for joining day 5 of this online FTP uh, sponsored by AICT Atal and Academy and organized by SSC NASSCOM. Couple of things. Good evening, Dr. Farheen. The thing is that some of you have completed your assessment also, but still you need to join in the sessions because 80% attendance is compulsory to get your Atal certificate. That's one. And second thing is that uh, I will urge you to engage more with the trainer. We have a very good trainer with us today. We have Ms. Shikha Tyagi with us. She will be talking about online tools for learning and make the best use of this. Focus on the content of the lecture and engage with her. Ask your questions in the question box, and we will try to reply to those questions. If you are facing any problem, Ms. Padma Bhogaraju has raised her hand. Madam, you can put your question in the chat box, so in the question box, sorry. And if you have any issue logging in the Future Skills Prime website, if your OTP is not working or if there is some other problem, please write an email with the screenshot to support@futureskillsprime.in. I will put that email in the chat. You can keep me in copy. That way we will be able to solve your queries faster. So yeah, Miss Padma Bhogaraji, you didn't get the promo code. I will put the promo code in the chat for you. And for any other problem, please, I request you to write an email with the screenshot of the problem to support@Future Skills Prime. And for all of those who didn't get the promo code, somebody has got the gold certificate. Wait. Mr. Prabhu has got a gold certificate. Congratulations. I'm putting the promo code in the chat box. You can please take it from here. And if you have any problem, you can write to support. Keep me in copy. With that, I've sent Madam Padma. It is there in the chat. Kindly see. The promo code is there in the chat. So I will now let us move on to the lecture. So welcome to Ms. Shikha Tyagi, who will be taking this class today. And if you would like to put on your videos if you like to put on your videos, you can just go on the settings and put the video on. Mr. Anandakumar Reddy, if GIF 100 is not working, as I just explained, please send a screenshot to support at Future Skills Prime. Keep me in copy. I'll give the instructions here. Now let us just focus on the lecture, please. So Ms. Shikha Tyagi, she is an IIT Delhi postgraduate specializing in computer vision. She brings over 12 years of experience in AI and machine learning across leading companies such as American Express, Yahoo, and Paytm. She's the founder of AI Jamik, which is a consulting firm focused on helping organizations build production-grade agentic AI systems, emphasizing ethics, transparency, and responsible deployment. Over to you, Shikha.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kamna. So, hi everyone. Let me first share my screen. So, I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
You can go full screen if it's not full screen.
Yeah. Is it full screen?
Yeah.
Visible to you? Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to this session on how to use AI tools for online learning. I myself use a lot of these tools, so really excited to share how you can also incorporate in your day-to-day learning new topics, something you want to create as a course for your students. So I hope that all the tools that I will be showcasing you today will be helpful for your day-to-day working. Also, this is the agenda which I will be covering today. So the first focus will be on how to build a smart study system using AI tools. And then I'll also talk a lot about how to use these AI tools ethically. When I say ethically, it means that when you are working on a sector, let's say education, so using AI responsibly becomes very important, because I'll talk about like what are some limitations and challenges of these AI tools, so which you should always be aware of before using them on your day-to-day work. So with these two agenda, let's start with the first topic that I'm going to cover, which is how to design this smart study system. I have divided this into a four-step process, or what is popularly known these days as workflows. So here, these are the four-step process we are going to follow. First will be called your design phase, which will incorporate how to come up with the content that you want to learn. Let's say you have a topic in mind, you want to create an outline around it, create the lesson planning. So, how you can use different AI tools to do that for you. The second will be your delivery phase, where once you have the content available with you, how to deliver that content effectively using these AI tools. The third will be the assessment phase. Once, let's say, you have the content and then you have delivered it, how to assess that, that whether you or your students have learned those concepts. So you can draw parallels with these sessions which are being conducted. You are going through all of these materials and then you are going through a certification quiz, which is used to assess how well you have completed your learnings. Post that, we will move to the fourth phase, which is your analytics phase, which bases on the three steps which have been done. We will look at what are the key outcomes which came out of the three-step planning we have done. We'll discuss how to generate the summary and learning insights using the different AI tools available out there. So this is the four-step workflow that we are going to create to build this smart study system design using AI tools. Apart from that, I'll be asking few questions in between. Some quizzes will be there. So I will request all of you to drop the answers in chat so that I understand whether you know that concept or not, because those are very important when it comes to delivering and designing these effective AI-based systems. So, the first question that I have for all of you, which is related to your responsible AI usage. So, can you drop in chat like, do you know what is hallucination, and what are some of the issues related to that? So, just in chat, if you can put, do you even know what is hallucination or not?
You can type a yes, Y for yes and N for no quickly, everyone.
Yeah, so I got a no as a response. So yeah. Yeah, so I got a response imagining from Sunita, imagining something is happening. So with respect to AI models, so uh yeah. So basically hallucinations is a issue with AI models where it can come up with sentences, paragraph, or some content which looks grammatically, semantically correct, but the numbers mentioned in it are actually not correct at all. So it can come up with a fact, let's say, this event or activity happened in 1756. But when you go and do a Google search, you will find out that, okay, no such activity actually happened on the mentioned date by your AI models. Why this is the case? Because these AI models are not 100% correct. So that's why it becomes very important to understand what are the limitations and challenges of these AI models. So these are the six I have mentioned here. Very important to understand these. So the first one, which is here on the first box, is accuracy first. No AI is 100% correct. So always verify AI generated content with Perplexity or Google Scholar for source citations before publishing to student or even using it for your own learning. These models can make mistakes. They can come up with the fact which are totally wrong. They are not at all correct. It has fabricated that information that it looks like correct. So always do a cross verification of whatever content is being generated by these AI tools. The second is privacy protection. So, never include students' personal identify information or your PII information in your AI prompts that you are writing. So, as you know, the way to interact with these AI model is through writing prompts, which are your textual instructions. And sometimes what we do is we put in our sensitive information that could be your Aadhaar number, WhatsApp screenshots, which might have some sensitive information. So do not do that and use anonymized content only. So you can redact that information. You can put some placeholders there and then pass in your information to these AI tools. The third is proper attribution, which means that whatever information you are using from different resources, always give proper credit to the original author from which you have taken that information or the website that you are using. So cite all resources and add credits. For example, this image is taken from this XYZ place, or this particular, let's say, a paragraph you have taken is written by some XYZ person. So always do the proper attribution. Then fourth is around maintaining accessibility standards. So whatever content you create or generate out of it, provide caption, alternate text, and good color contrast. The fifth is academic integrity. So, AI, using these AI tools is okay for idea generation, outlines, and doing practice, but it is not allowed for like proctored tests. So, this should be always made sure that AI tool is not used for these prohibited cases. Clearly disclose which AI uses are allowed versus which are not, to your students, and to or even you should be aware of like what is allowed and what is not. So always do this study beforehand before leveraging these AI tools for any of the activity. The sixth is the use of AI detector. So there are a lot of AI detectors available out there online. If you do a Google search, you will see a lot of these tools are available there. So even these AI detector tools are not reliable. They are also again not 100% correct. They are again using AI to detect actually the AI. So here it's very important that to check for the authenticity of the work, always ask students to maintain the version history which they have created. Uh, Everyone is using chat GPT, so don't think that everyone is coming up with all the content by themselves. So always ask students to maintain the version history and the prompt, uh, so that they can keep it as a repository and present to you if needed. Always conduct short viva from the versions which they have submitted. So in this way, you can identify that if a student has put in efforts in creating the or coming up with the content which they are submitting as part of their examination. So these are the six main pointers I wanted to talk about regarding the responsible AI usage with respect to education sector. So always be aware of these. Now, any question if anyone have, feel free to put in chat. So I will be happy to answer later. But now, first I have a question. So let's try to understand. Are you like familiar with what is called PII or personable identifier information. So I have given these two options. So can you tell me which of these is a PII information? Are both PII or none of these is PII? So can you give me the responses? Yeah, so I'm getting like both Aadhaar. Yeah, so the correct response is actually Aadhaar is a PII information. So PII is something which can uniquely identify a person. And person name alone is actually cannot identify you. It might, if combined with something other information, might give your identity, but because with the same name there can be a lot of people, so it is not exactly a PII. It falls under the branch of private information. It is still a private information but not PII information. So very important to understand these categorizations, so that we know what all information we can pass to these AI tools and what we cannot. So with this, now we can move to the next part, which is to design our study system using the AI tools. So as I already said that this is going to be a four-step process. So let's first start with the design phase, where now we'll focus on how to generate the content which we want to learn or teach using these AI tools available out there. So let's look at the goal or the objective here that we are trying to accomplish, because the prompts that I will be creating will be tailored for this particular goal. Now again, this goal is customizable basis on your requirement. So I'll tell you what are the different placeholder you can tweak to get a personalized version of this particular activity that we are doing. So the goal that we have here is to create, let's say, a complete 1 week module you can implement immediately in your course. So let's say you are, let's say, teaching a course, for example, and there's a specific topic for which you want to create a 1 week module. Now, in this module, you want to include all these pointers. First is your three measurable outcomes. Then, as part of that module, you want to have 90-minute live session plan. So, where you are asking that come up with the segments also and the timing. Then we have another requirement of creating two async activities along with some time estimates. Then we are asking some OER reading, openly available education resources and videos. And if you see here, here I have mentioned that put the verified open links. So because what can happen and happens a lot of time, these AI tools gives you link which actually doesn't exist. So here we have put in the instruction that only give the verified open links. The fourth is the information that we are looking for is one graded assessment plus rubric. So rubric will be like four criteria on which you will be grading, let's say, students on four different level. Then one more important constraint we are adding, that add accessibility considerations also for all these components. So this is the goal that we have in mind. Now, basis on your requirement, you can keep and or tweak some of these. Let's say you have a 2 week module in plan, so you can, instead of writing 1 week, you can make it 2 weeks. Instead of 90 minutes, you have 120-minute live session, so you can make those changes here. So a lot of these things you can tweak as per your requirement. Now, with this goal in mind, let's see what tools and processes you can use. So, we are going to use ChatGPT and Perplexity. So, I will show you how these tools can be used together to generate the content. So the first, what we will do, we will use ChatGPT for the some of the structured content creation. Then, as I said, that use tools like Perplexity for the verifiability of the content. So I will be showcasing you like how to use Perplexity for sourcing open educational resources with verified links. And then I'll take you through a template driven approach for the consistency. So this is what I will be showcasing you next. Now, if you focus in the requirements which I had written here, so in the include three measurable outcomes, I written Bloom's apply and analyze. So what is this? So basically, there's a Bloom's taxonomy. Not sure if you already know that or not. So basically, every like study plan can be categorized into these six levels. It's like you want to create the content for remembering. You want to create the content for understanding it. Let's say now you have remembered and understood the concept. You want to apply it to real world scenario. You want to analyze the learnings on a actual data. You want to evaluate your learnings. So in this way, this is the Bloom taxonomy, which is like the 6 step process. So this is what we have mentioned in the prompt, that use the Bloom's apply and analyze to come up with the three measurable outcomes. So that whatever study plan that you have in mind, whatever learning you want to do, you can map it to one of these categories, so that whether you were able to understand that concept or not, you have understood the concept, but now are you able to apply it on the real world data or not, or real world problems or not. So that's why we have put in here that focus on the three measurable outcomes of Bloom's apply and analyze. I put in more details here, like if anyone wants, they can read about these also. Now I have a question to all of you. So as I mentioned that we will be using Perplexity AI for some of the tasks as an AI tool. So can you tell me, is Perplexity a AI search engine or LLM or a large language model? So can you tell me? So I'm getting the responses LLM, LLM. Yeah, so I got a response, search engine also, AI search engine. Yeah. So basically, Perplexity is an AI search engine. It's not a large language model. There's this confusion usually that it's actually LLM, but when I will show you the Perplexity's user interface, when we will be using it, that it's actually, you can think of as a very smart wrapper on top of your large language model. Behind the scene, it will be using your models like ChatGPT, like OpenAI's GPT model or Gemini's model. Yeah, so I think Dr. Raini has said they have a browser also. So actually, they have a browser which is in competition with Google Chrome. It's called Comet. Yeah. So it's like you can think of as a competitor for Google search or Google, but it's not, it doesn't have its any of its own large language model. It is using other vendors LLM to give you the structured responses which you can use and verify using different resources. Yeah. Yeah, so actually they are giving these pro versions for free. Yeah, correct, exactly. So to increase the adoptability, they are giving these pro versions to universities, students for free. I think Gemini also Google also have made Gemini free for the students. So to increase adoptability, so they are coming up with these pro version, like free tiers for students. Okay. So now that we understand the distinction between Perplexity and Gemini, let's start writing the prompts for the task that we want to do. So if you know, prompt engineering is very popular term when interacting with any of these AI models. So this is how we communicate with AI models. Like we communicate with each other, with humans. We like talk to each other. We explain what we are trying to do. So similarly, what has become now, you can interact with these AI models in plain and natural language. Before, like 2 to 3 years back, that was not possible. It was all codes, so you had to write codes to interact with these models. But now it has become very simple. So but there are certain structures that we need to follow while building these prompts. So let's see how to create the prompts. So the first prompt that we are going to create is this first one, which is your persona prompt. If you know the prompt engineering guidelines, so always a good idea to give a right role to your AI model. So here you see the role which I have written. It says that you are a higher educational instructor designer for India, familiar with NAAC and privacy standards. So this is the kind of role that I'm giving to the AI model that I'm going to interact with. Again, the things that you see here in the brackets, it's all placeholders. Basis on the kind of persona you want to give to a AI model, you can make changes in it. Now, let's say the audience for this AI model who has this role is, let's say, high school student, undergraduate, postgraduate, working professional. So these are all placeholders. You can make changes in it, but always a good idea to make AI model understand who's the audience is going to be you are working with. Then the kind of bandwidth, let's say the bandwidth they can have, let's say on their internet bandwidth is low or medium, high, so you can specify those information also. What kind of learning management system you are using? Is it, let's say, a Google Classroom, Moodle? So that the content that you get will be in according to the information that you are giving in your persona. Then the constraints here, if you see, it says that prefer open education resources. Then you are saying, again, very important thing, a very important constraint we are putting here, that avoid hallucination, include accessibility and integrity nodes. So these are the constraints we have put on the output that we are going to get out of these models. Then output style, you can define like in the way in which the output will be produced by these AI models. So here we are saying that the table should come first, then there should be concise bullets and no marketing tool. So this is all the persona that we are giving to our AI model. So we have not generated any content yet, but this is the first step of any template based like the AI tool usage that you are going to do. So now what I will do, I will open ChatGPT and we'll start putting these prompts in the uh, ChatGPT's box. Yeah. Let's open new chat. Yeah, so now I am here on ChatGPT and what I will do is I will paste the this persona prompt here first. And always a good idea to create a new chat for a new project that you are working on. So let's open. Yeah. So why always you should create a new, let's say, this tab for a new project, because these models they consider your previous interactions with also. So let's say something you had mentioned before in the same chat, they use that also to generate the responses. So if you start with a clean slate, only the information which you put in here will be used. So let's say if you paste this. So here I am on a new chat in chat GPT. Here you see I have put in the role, audience, bandwidth, LMS, constraint and output style. And now I will hit enter here. So now you see it has under you get this confirmation. Okay, understood. I'll adopt the following working framework for all future responses under this role, audience, and context setup. So that we have now the first step done. The role, audience, all the parameters are set, and you can see the its corresponding definition. So you can always make changes, make tweaks in this persona prompt, and the AI model will adapt to that. Now, let's start looking at the next set of prompts that we are going to use for this design phase. So, let's now look at the second prompt. So, the A section, A box that you are going to.
Sorry to interrupt. There are some questions from Vidya Lakshmi. She's saying that what are we trying to learn here? I think what we are trying to learn here, if you can just explain and then go forward with this, that will be great, Shika.
Yeah. So, actually, in this design phase, we
And
are.
she's also asking if we can create an app using AI tools. So these are the two questions. If you want to just explain these, like just answer her questions and then proceed.
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, that in the design phase, we are going to create the content for a topic that we want to learn or teach. So let's say I'll show you now here in you see in this now next prompt which we are going to write. It says that write four measurable learning outcome for a topic. So this is the topic that you are going to create content for, which you want to learn or let's say you want to teach. So this is the all the idea of the this design phase prompting that we are doing. Let me know if you have any follow-up question. Hmm. Yeah. And also you had a question that can we create apps using AI tools? Yes, definitely you can create applications. There are a lot of these days tools available, AI tools available out there. And if you are familiar with this vibe coding concept, so there's a very popular vibe coding platform called Replit. So you can use Replit to create applications by just writing instructions. So I'm typing it here, Replit. So you can use these tools and you can use it. If you want to write code, then you can use it as your buddy also. So cursor.ai, let me write this. Cursor.ai is again a tool which you can use as a pair programmer. So let's say you want to write the code and you are stuck somewhere, some errors are coming. So you can take help of Cursor AI's agent to get the information. Also, Google Colab, I'm not sure how many of you are available. Collab. If let me show you, yeah, I can show that. Collab.google.com is your cloud based notebook where you can write Python codes, and it actually lets you do pair programming with Gemini. So they have integrated Gemini inside this. And with the help of Gemini, you can take help of, let's say you are facing any errors, anything. So whenever you are run codes, it can help you with debugging. Then there is one more, Replit, build apps and sites with AI. So again, a really amazing tool. for faster prototyping of solutions. Cursor.ai that I was saying, the best way to code with AI. So it can rapidly enhance the way you write the code, you build the application. So this is again really amazing tool. So these three tools I have written here, so you can use this. Yeah. So these are not part of the today's agenda. So I think Vidya Lakshmi, yeah. So this actually falls under the like pair programming or vibe coding. Let's say you want to build applications using it, so it will fall under that category. But this session, which is this one, is actually not related to that. Yeah. Okay. So I hope like any other question, any follow up question. Oh. So these are basically low code, no code, like pair programming softwares which you can use. So, okay. Now let's go back to the next prompt that I was talking about. So this is now the second prompt I will be taking you through, which we will again write in ChatGPT. So let's do this. Let's just right away paste this. So let's see this. So write four measurable learning outcomes for topic. Now what topic you have in mind? This is what you need to write. Like as we said that I want to create a 1 week plan for a specific topic that I want to learn or I want to teach, create a curriculum out of it. So let's say I want to learn about data pre-processing in data analytics. So as part of, let's say I'm teaching a course on data analytics and I want to prepare content on the data pre-processing. So here you see, this is the topic that is actually the placeholder which I have replaced here. And now let's hit enter and see what output we get for this particular prompt. Yeah. So you see, basis on the instructions that we have written, that write four measurable learning outcomes for data processing in data analytics, add Bloom's apply analyze level, map each learning outcome to a course outcome tag. So this is what you see. Here, evidence assessment method is given to every learning outcome. So what happens in data pre-processing? So you see, it has come up with these four learning outcomes. First is apply appropriate data cleaning imputation techniques to handle missing, duplicate, and inconsistent values in real world data sets using Python. So this is your first learning outcome. Now how you can assess it? You can assess it through your notebooks where you take a data set and do all the cleaning which you have mentioned here in first learning outcome. The second is feature encoding and scaling methods to prepare categorical and numerical values for your model training. For against that, how you can do the assessment and evidence, this is how you can do that. So in this way, basis on the prompt that we have written, we have got these four learning outcomes, and to assess that you or your students have learned that particular learning outcome or not. So let's say you are designing this curriculum which you are going to deliver to your students. So again, all these learning outcome, you can come up with these lab assignments where you will be creating notebooks to clean a given data set. You can create auto-graded quiz with coding snippets. You can create short analytical report comparing before and after transformation with plots and so this is just the first prompt that we have written here. on what four measurable learning outcomes should be there once that 1 week lecture or the topic creation is done. So now the third step, if I go back in the slide, is to actually source the actual content that you are going to be creating and delivering. So here I won't be using chat GPT. Now we'll move to the perplexity AI. So here let's see what prompt that we are going to write. Here you see it says that find 8 to 10 authoritative recent sources on topic. So this topic again has to be similar to what we had just written, which is your data pre-processing in data analytics. Then you see we have written some constraints that prefer only these resources, NPTEL, scikit-learn docs, university pages, textbooks, and open educational resources. Reason being, we want it to come from verified sources. We don't want the models to fabricate any information so that we are learning or teaching something which is not at all correct. So there is no fact in that content. Now we'll asking it to return a table with the title, link, year, license, and we have mentioned that exclude personal blogs, unverifiable sites. So you don't want any of this stuff is coming from personal blogs. Once that is done, this is the second prompt we'll again write in Perplexity, is to produce a 1 page or 2 page like brief on the topics with sections like key idea, common pitfalls, do don'ts checklist, and 3 short examples. So now I'll show you this prompt in action inside Perplexity. And also I'll show you why Perplexity is not a LLM. So it's a wrapper on top of it. So if you see here, this is Perplexity's dashboard, the landing page. And here if you see, there is this choose a model option. And if you click here, you see these are the different models listed here. So these are actually the AI model which is running behind the scene in Perplexity. And you see it has GPT-5, which is from your OpenAI. Then you have Gemini, which is from Google. You have Claude, which is from Anthropic. So Grok, which is from X. So basically you can choose any of model as the backend and write queries. And Perplexity will use those that selected model for you. So Perplexity itself is not a LLM. It's just using these LLM to generate the responses for you. So now what we'll do is we will paste this prompt, uh, this first step one here. So why Perplexity? Because I'll show you that whatever information is fetches from sources, it will provide you the links also so that you can always go back and verify those resources. So first we need to actually change the topic. So the topic will be same. So yeah. So the topic that we had written here, we can use the same topic. And let's hit enter. So you see, basis on the topic we had written, the requirement that we had, it has fetched links from the sources we mentioned. So you see, this is the link, the NPTEL source, and why to use that. Is it a OER or not? So it has created that yes and no flag also for us. And if you see here, it has given all the resources also for you. So the assistant step. So if you see, and it has given all the links also here. So YouTube links, scikit link, Coursera. So all these are the resources from which it has got the information, and this table has been created after that. So let's say you want to verify from which particular source this information is coming. So you can always click on any of these links and verify the information. So this is first just to get the links. Now once we have got the links, now we need to actually create the final content for the learning. So this, what we will do, we'll copy this particular prompt, go to Perplexity, and yeah, from the sources above, so whatever sources so we have got here by using the first prompt, now we are asking it to produce a one page, two page. Let's make it two page. And also the topic, this same topic. And the sections, we have given that these are the sections we want in the pages that are going to be produced. So key idea, common pitfall, do, don't checklist. So, and we have asked that to put in the inline citations also. So with this, let's hit enter. So now it has started generating the content for us, like what is data pre-processing. So you see it's a critical step in data analytics. Then it includes handling missing data, and then it has come up with these pointers like how to do the missing data handling. And if you see along with every point, it has given us the link also. So let's say you want to do or do any sort of verification that this information is coming from any authentic source or not. Is this even correct or not? So you can always go to this link and check that if it is the right information or not. So here you see everything is grounded in a resource which is available as part of the links which they have given in the output. Then we had asked for common pitfalls. So this is here, like ignoring missing data problems, what it could lead to. Do's and don't checklist related to data pre-processing. Then some short examples on, let's say, missing data imputation. A data set with missing age value can use mean imputation to fill gaps. So all of that information we see is coming from these lectures, which we had put in as a constraint in the prompt. So this way you get all this information, and then you have this export answer option. So you can click here, download it as a PDF, doc, markdown. So let's say I download it as a PDF. So you see it has generated this material for me in the desired format. So I had asked it to create two pager PDF. You can ask it, let's say 4 to 5, a very detailed one, and you can share it as a handouts, as a pre-read. And if you scroll down, all the resources are here mentioned in the PDF. So from where this information has been taken. So in this way, you can create all that information using the Perplexity. So now we have all the content available with us. So there's still one last prompt which is remaining, which is you have the content and you have this CO map, which we got from the first prompt. Now let's design the final session. You want to cover all the topics which we just got. So these are the topics which we got from the Perplexity. And now you want to start delivering it. So for that, we'll create a plan using this new prompt. For this, you can use Chat GPT because you are not asking it to generate any content. You are just asking it to structure it. So you already have the content, and now we can use this particular prompt where we will need to paste the information we got from Perplexity. So you see, using these LOs, learning outcomes. So this was the learning outcome. You can copy this. So here there are two placeholders that we need to put in. So these are the learning outcomes. And then you have the slide outline, which is your content, which actually you got. So the content that we got here from Perplexity, you can copy all of that or copy it from, let's say, the PDF which we had just got. So you can copy all of this content and paste it here. And using this, what you are asking is to create a 90-minute live plan split into 10 to 15 segments with this methodology of activate, teach, practice, and reflect. And the output format is this, like a table with what segment you are going to cover for which duration, purpose. So let's hit enter and see what result we get. So I see a question, which is better, Gemini or Perplexity? So yeah, you see, Gemini is actually your large language model, so which you can use at the back end. So the comparison actually will be between, let's say, ChatGPT and Gemini. So it's again basis on the kind of requirement you might have. So nowadays, these all the models are very powerful. If you had asked me this question, let's say 2 years back, ChatGPT was very good for different tasks, but now Gemini has also catched up, and both looks really good to me. So you might try two or three models and see which response is what you are looking for. Yeah. Okay. So now you see we have the entire plan with us. So this was the idea of the design, the content creation phase. Here, the live 90-minute plan we have here in this table. So next, first 10 minute, what you can do, like what data issues have you faced, missing values, outliers, what tools you can use, the concept related to data pre-processing pipeline, handling missing data, detecting and treating outliers. So all these segments have been picked up from the content that we generated using Perplexity. So this is like a plan. Now what you can do, you can copy this plan, share it in an Excel or let's say any LMS, learning management system. So let's say you are using Google Sheet. So you can create a new Google Sheet and share this plan. So it's in a copy paste format. So you see entire thing that you got. You can share that this is going to be the agenda. This is what you are going to be teaching for this particular duration, what to show, any polls you want to show, a live demo or a code. So all that information you got is like in a structured manner from the prompt that we just created. So this was the first step of designing the content using the AI tools available out there. So we use ChatGPT and Perplexity. Post that, now we move to the second phase of delivery phase. This is very like exciting for me because I know creating, let's say, slides used to take a lot of time, but these days you can just in few minutes generate really good looking slides. So this is what I'll going to cover next. So with related to whatever I just covered, any question? Yeah, so Deepak, you have a question which is good for review research page. So there's a deep research mode. If you have used Gemini, you can use that. So deep research is the one which I usually prefer for reviewing research paper. You upload a research paper and ask it to do the deep analysis. So let me see. Yeah, it is available in the free version. So you see, there are different modes available. Even let's say you open this gemini.google.com. So let me put this. So here, from the drop down, you can select which model you want to use. So let's say you just day-to-day tasks, some email writing or something. So you can use these 2.5 flash type of model. You want to, let's say, but do something like reasoning, mathematical analysis, coding. So they provide you this Pro model, 2.5 Pro. So you can use the Gemini's reasoning power, upload a PDF of a research paper, or let's say you ask it to whatever paper you have in mind, just write the name and it will do the searching for you and will come up with the analytics on that. So you can use Gemini's 2.5 Pro, which is really good for reasoning. GPT also has its reasoning, but the number of requests are very less. So here you see it has a deep research mode. So you can turn on these deep research modes for your quick research and analysis. The only thing with the free version, you can do, let's say, 2 to 3 deep research in a day. So always a good idea to know what all models are available, who have support for this deep research, so that you can use basis on your requirement. Yeah. And a lot of now the students and institutes, they get these free
This is
pro
Gemini
versions.
or this is Gemini or this is ChatGPT?
Yeah, so both ChatGPT and Gemini, they have deep research mode, Kamna. So yeah, so here
Okay.
in ChatGPT you have deep research. Google also have their reasoning. So I have used Gemini for this reasoning. It's pretty good. So you can upload papers, you can compare papers. So this is really good. Something I found. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You can always change the modes from here because reasoning mode takes a lot of time. So let's say you give a request, it might take few minutes, but if your task is very, let's say, like a day-to-day basis, writing emails or just doing some task activity, planning something, so do with that, always go for these fast all-round help type of model. So this is actually the thinking mode which all these popular models have come up with. So this is like step-by-step reasoning which they have implemented behind the scenes. So it takes few minutes to come up with the final response. So now let's look at the second phase, which is, let me put it on slideshow. So, what are the different tools available for generating interactive media or slides? So, this is what I'm going to cover next. So, we have all the, let's say, content available with us. Now, we want to create really good looking slides which are, let's say, very engaging for the audience, the students. So, I'll take you through some of the AI tools. The most popular one is Gamma and Canva. I'll take you through Gamma. It has a lot of free credits, so you can actually generate a lot of slides using that. Apart from that, there are some other websites also for interactive content creation, so that you can check. But I'll just focus primarily on how to use Gamma for the slide creation. So let's go to gamma.app. And if anyone wants to try this with me, so you can actually go to this gamma.app. This is the website and very like nice website, I would say, not just yeah for creating the presentation. You can do a lot of it. So yeah, Rahini saying we are using, yeah, actually I have also been using it. Really great website for creating content. Yeah, actually the free version have some limitations, so that's the case. So you can always try Canva also. So Canva also is decent in generating the content. Yeah. So now what we can do, so here I have again a prompt which is here. So I'll show you how to write effective content that you can paste in Gamma. So this is the prompt. First, I'll run in ChatGPT. Yeah, so you see here I'm asking ChatGPT to create 8 to 10 slide deck for 90-minute, let's say undergraduate live session titled Foundation of Data Analytics. And I'm pasting the content here. So whatever content we had got from the Perplexity's content search, what we can do, we can copy all of that here. So what you can do, you can you copy it from the document that we uploaded. So let me just copy it from here. Hmm. So basically what ChatGPT does is really gives you the content in a very structured way so that the output you will get from the Gamma will in the first step itself will be 80 to 90% close to what you want. So let's me hit this. Yeah, Raini. So PPT conversion, I'm not sure, but the PPTs that I get from ChatGPT are very, very basic. So that needs a lot of editing. Hmm. So now I see we have got this 10 slide content, what we can do. So in Gamma, we can paste it and we can say generate from notes or an outline, continue to prompt editor, and then we can click on generate. So with Gamma, yeah, so you can generate max 10 slides. So maybe you give some content first, generate 10 slides, then you give the other content for next 10 slides. So this is how if let's you want to have more than 10 slides of content, you can use two calls of Gamma. So now you see the Gamma is in action. It is generating the presentations for us. So with all the text which we had pasted, now it is giving the content in slides, and you see it creates images also basis on the context of the information that we have put in, and gives a very clean view of the information that we are trying to present. So you see it automatically detects like components, handling missing data. It has created these three components out of it. The best thing I really like, it automatically creates these charts for also you. So you see what are outliers, detection method you have written here, and it generates charts which are very relevant to the information in this text content that you have in your slide. Let's say some don't like something, so you all these sections which you see here, the text which you see, the detection method, all of these are editable. So you can make edits. You can, let's say you have this image, you want to edit this image, so you can do that also. So with every component that you see in Gamma, there comes a edit option. So you see, let me show you again. So let's say you select this image, you do the edit here. So you will see the prompt which was used to generate this particular image, that this was the prompt which was used. Now you want to make changes, you want to, let's say, make changes only on the in the style, so you can do it from here. So and then you can select the image model also. So if you see here the model. So again, there are a lot of image models available. So you can pick and choose any model. So again, Gamma is a AI tool or a wrapper built on top of these image models that you are seeing. So like Perplexity, as I showed you, Perplexity also has this drop down of like which model you want to use, and it uses that model to uh, create your final content or response. Similarly, in Gamma also, you can select different image models basis on your, let's say you find image gen to be really good. This is actually provided by Google. So you can select this one to generate images. So instead of the default model, which is Quen, which it is using, you can pick and choose which one you want to use. So in this way, you can improve the content which is getting generated in the slides that you have. So this is, you see the 10 slide you have got. It has created images based on the content we pasted. It has, you see, scale. It has explained what is scaling, what are common scaling methods. So let's say you have gone through the content, you have made the edits as per the requirement. Then you can just go here. You can download it from these options which you see, share. You can export it as PDF, PowerPoint, export to Google Slide. So let's say you're using Google Suite, not the Microsoft Suite. So you have a lot of these options. Now this there was a point that it gives the watermark. So yeah, with the free version, if you are using, so there will be some watermark related to Gamma. So that is something which you'll need keep in mind. So this is how, let's say you have the content, you can use Gamma to generate the slides. Let's say I export it to PDF. So let's see how the final presentation looks like.
So I think you're using a paid model, right?
No, I'm on free one. Yeah, it's free. So yeah, this is the, you see this made with Gamma watermark is what comes here in every slide. So this is with the free version. So this is how the final content looks like. You see. So really good slides you get in the first step itself. So with some sort of editing, from 90% you can reach to 100%. But creating these slides manually used to take a lot of time, which is a really good time saver, I think, for all of us using these AI tools which are available out there. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll just see if there is any question. So free comes with 10 slides. So as I told you, you get a lot of Gamma credits. So what you can do, you can create 2 requests with 10 slides each and get the results. Okay, so now let's go back to the slides. The one more tool I want to talk about is using AI tools for web conferencing. So I know a lot of people are already using the different Otter.ai or Fireflies.ai. But always a good idea to understand in which forums you can use and not because of the data privacy issue. So here, always a good idea to go to these websites pages and look at their data privacy. So let's say you are using fireflies.ai. So I know for those who don't know, you can add these plugins to your conferencing tools. Like say we are using Zoom right now. So let's say there's some session is happening. So you want to, after the session, you want to get the summary of the session, like what all was discussed. So this is like a recording and doing the analysis using the AI tools on top of it. So it's like minutes of meeting. So these tools are used for generating minutes of meetings. You can also ask questions on what was discussed during in the entire let's say the meeting happened. So let's say you could not join or you joined, but you had trouble understanding a certain concept. So these Otter.ai and Fireflies.ai such tool helps you in keeping track on what was discussed and making sure you did not miss anything from the meeting. But again, make sure the kind of meetings in which you should use these tools. Make sure like go through the data privacy concerns where the data is stored, because let's say you are discussing something very confidential in a meeting, you should avoid using fireflies.ai type tools in that. So this is very important. Is it saving your data or not? Does Firefly access my data? Can I delete or remove data? So Firefly says that no, we follow the principle of least privilege, strictly guaranteeing access to sensitive data on a need to know basis with monitoring and auditing. Yes, you can delete the data from the user board. Let's say you have generated the summary of your meeting and now you don't want the data to reside on Firefly server. So you can always go back and delete the data. So in this way, always use the trustworthy platforms with your web conferencing tools like Zoom, or let's say if you are using Google Meet. So all Otter.ai is also there. So go make sure you read their privacy terms and conditions. What is the compliant? Are these tools like HIPAA compliant, which is related to your data privacy? So what kind of like compliance systems they are following? So always important to go through this. But yeah, if let's fireflies I really like. So if any of you want to use any such AI tool with your web conferencing software, so always give it a try. Gives you really good insights on what happened in the meetings. You can ask questions on top of whatever was discussed during that meeting. So now we have covered two phases. The first was content design, second was delivery. The third is the assessment phase. So let me show you what sort of tools are available out there. Here even ChatGPT does a really good job. So basis on the content, it can generate some MCQs which you can use as it is, share in a Google form or use other AI tools like Quizy. So I'll give you a quick walkthrough of Quizy as a platform, how you can use that to create MCQs. So the third step is now the assessment phase, which I'll take you through. So here the prompts I have written here, you can use them as it is, and the reading is what we have already provided. So from, you can say, the reading already provided, so that it knows the context or the information on the topic we are referring to is already present in the same chat. So from the already reading already provided, create 5 MCQs, create 5 items, 2 MCQs, one numeric, one scenario, short answer, one interpret graph. Provide answer key also if you want, and create a 4x4 rubric for short scenario. So let's hit enter. So see, it knew that in this particular chat, we had used data pre-processing as a topic. So it has generated the assessment questions for us. So see one, so MCQs, we had asked 2 MCQs. So these are the 2 MCQs it had provided and given us the answer key also. Then we asked it to create numeric questions also for us. So you see, so it has generated a numeric question, and where students will have to put in the formula or give the range for the answer, and this is the exact answer in the key it has provided. The fourth is a scenario based. So like you see, this is a scenario has been given and you are expecting an answer in not just a number term, with along with an explanation also. So here it says that you are cleaning a customer data set, which includes age, income, city, and 50% of age values are missing. So describe the best imputation approach and justify why it's better than deletion in this case. So this is one of the way you can get scenario based questions. The fifth one is interpret the graph. So let's say you give a box plot of monthly sales and it shows a longer upper whisker and several points beyond. So what you can infer from them. And let's say now you want to have the image also. So for this particular scenario, so you can ask ChatGPT to generate image also. So what you can do here, you can ask, can you generate image also for this? In this way, you can do the image generation, so that because this is like a analyze the image kind of question. So you can ask it to generate the image, which along with the quizzes, you can pass to students. And then it has generated the rubric also, a 4x4 grade, like basis on what criteria you will grade a student excellent, good, basic, or inadequate. So while it is generating the image, let me show you a AI based quiz platform where you can generate all of that and share with the students. So Quizy is one such platform. Here you can create resources like assessment. Here you see it has support for presentations also, videos. So you can try Quizy also for generating presentations. So, but I'm just focusing on the assessment part. So you can create quizzes with the help of AI, or let's say you already have questions available with you. You can paste that here. So you can upload, you can paste questions. So it provides you all these flexibilities. You can generate with AI also. So in the text, you can paste the content and you can ask it to come up with the questions. You can change the grades. So all the options are available here. And you can come up with the quiz template. And you can share it with the students. And the result or the outcomes that you get are actually in an Excel format like this. So this is how the, let's say you have shared the quiz with the students. So let's say you had the 5 questions. So what answer you got by a particular student, you can get this information, participants data. So this, and what you can do, this result of the quizzes that you get, you can paste all of that in chat gpt and come up with the cases or the sections where let's say students were not able to understand particular concept. So there the question answer accuracy that you saw was very less. Only 20% of the student could give you the right answer. So in this case, it can become a feedback or a follow-up activity that you want to focus on this particular topic where people are not able to understand the question. So in this way, the feedback Excel or the feedback that you get can then be used in the next step to come up with the next plan for the topics which students are not able to understand. So quiz is a platform is really good where you can create questions. So I would really like if you can go back and try this to create the questions. Yeah. So this was the, I think, prompt I have already covered. Hmm. So any question? Let me just check. Yeah, Raini. So yeah, it has renamed and reports can be analyzed. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So the last step is the analytics phase where I'll show you how you can analyze the summary discussions, learning insights using tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity. So let's say you have a LMS learning management system like Google Classroom. So you actually can get all the conversations happening and you can export it and can get it analyzed using these tools or software available out there. So let me talk about the workflow. So what you can do, you can export forum post or transcripts. Or let's say you had some transcripts from, let's say, fireflies.ai, Notion AI, so you can use those transcripts. You can upload those in ChatGPT or Perplexity in Gemini and use this prompt to come up with what was the discussion themes where people are struggling, and you can come up with the LMS announcement post also, which you can put in the classroom that you are working. So let me show you how the exported, I don't know if anyone of you have tried that. So you can export the classroom discussions, and it usually looks like a JSON file. So yeah, let me open with. So whatever classrooms, let's say you have, if it is Google Classroom, this is how it looks like. If you have some other forum, that also usually all the forums, they let you export the conversation. So let's say this is how for a Google Classroom it looks like. So here it gives like what was the text. This text means what the discussion was happening. So let's say a student says that I think we should normalize first, then split train and test data. So some sort of discussion happening around some particular topic. You don't want to, let's say, manually go through it and use these AI tools to do the analysis. So you can either upload it or can copy this and paste in Chat GPT. And let's use the prompt that I was just showing. Yeah. So summarize these posts. Yeah. So let's copy this. So it says summarize these post discussions into themes, misconceptions, and a 15-minute practice task. So based on the discussion which happened, create a task of around 15 minutes and write a supportive 120-word announcement which can be posted into a LMS system. So let's hit enter. Yeah, so it's ask a follow-up question. You can say, let's say, students. Uh, I hope it's not in the deep research by chance. Let me just copy it again because usually it doesn't take this much time. So let me just copy this again. Hmm. So you see, I had in that particular tab, deep research was selected, so it went into a thinking mode. So the thinking mode takes more time compared to your instant responses. So you see, it has basis on the JSON that I provided, which was exported from the Google Classroom's discussion. It has summarizes the themes onto data integrity, handling missing values. So these were the main topics which students were talking about. The common misconception. So they have misconception on normalizing or imputing before train test split. Using a label coder for nominal categorical data and linear model. So they are not very sure should be done or not. Then, so basis on the content we pasted, so these are the four most common misconception it has identified. Then to make sure they don't have it, this is the 15-minute practice task which can be provided. A sales.ca be with which will need to be split into 80/20. So this is all like related to your train test and doing the encoding of the data. So this is the kind of a task you can prepare and share as an exercise to make sure these misconceptions are not or no longer are there. Then a final supportive 120-word announcement, which you can readily copy and paste and share it on the classroom. So this is how the final assessment of the topics that you delivered, post the assessment was done, can be created using these AI-based tools. Yeah, so this was the fourth step. So here, along with your what the discussion summaries were there, you can provide the quiz results also and ask uh, ChatGPT to analyze that and come up with the follow-up action. So that also can be done in the ChatGPT. So yeah, so this was a four-step process I wanted to take you through to create the online learning plan. So yeah, so again, I want to emphasize on the AI usage guidelines. So what you can use AI for is very important. What needs a citation? You need to understand what AI can do or not. Though it is very advanced these days, but subject matter expertise are needed at every stage, specifically in education domain. When you are using AI, be upfront, you used it, keep a repository of prompt. Everyone is using these resources these days for learning, enhancing their skill. So it's not that like you cannot use it anymore. Protect the privacy, email IDs, and check your work. You are responsible for accuracy and sources. So always do a spot check of the work that you are quoting. So yeah, so this is all what I had to take you through. So any question if anyone has? So yeah.
This is the right time to ask your questions. We still have a couple of minutes for Shikha's session.
Yeah, I see a question from Deepak. Can we create MATLAB code for any LP algorithm with detailed explanation? Yeah, Deepak, you can use ChatGPT also. So ChatGPT is really good in generating the codes. It can generate the NLP algorithm codes in MATLAB also. Yeah. So and they have a codex also. I'm not sure. ChatGPT came with codex, which is your coding partner. So this is a specialized coding model that they have created. So codex is from OpenAI. So you can use this OpenAI's coding agent. So it's really powerful.
Any other questions? We still have 2 minutes. I think that was a very engaging session, and we learned a lot of new things. I'm sure the participants benefited a lot from your session, Shikha. And if you can share this presentation with me, I will share it with all the participants. I'll request you to share it with me.
Yeah, sure. Definitely, I'll share it with you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for asking a lot of questions. So, yeah, it was really nice.
I think it was more interactive than last time because you had taken one cohort last time also.
Yes, yeah.
And we are hoping to have you join us for the next cohort also, which is going to start from November 10th to November 15th. We will be having one session. And I want to share with all the faculty members that on Future Skills Prime, we have a lot of other courses as well. So if you want to offer these courses to your students, then please get in touch with me. Let me know. We can offer a lot of courses to. We can offer a lot of these courses to the students as well. Madam Swapna is saying that she is attending all the session, but only one day attendance is uploaded. I informed earlier also the attendance will be uploaded on Atal by 4th November. Once all the days are complete, then together we will be uploading it. So thank you for that. Uh, uh, so yes, so I was saying that uh, to all the faculty members, if you want to offer these courses to your students, we can make a cohort of your students on the Future Skills Prime platform, and we can offer these courses. There are a lot of free courses. This Generative AI Fluency course is free, but assessment is only free for faculty. For the students, the assessment will be paid. We can discuss, Raini madam, we can discuss separately, depending on how you want to go ahead. There are a lot of offerings that we have. So depends on what do you want us to share with you. What are the offerings that you need? Depending on that, some courses are absolutely free, and other courses are paid, and other things like hackathons, career counseling sessions, panel discussions, industry visits. Those things, there is a different package for that, but some courses are absolutely free. So I'll be happy to get in touch with you, Dr. Raini, and take this thing forward. We are just in time to welcome our next speaker, Dr. Pramod Dasan. Welcome, Dr. Pramod. So nice to have you here with us. He is joining us from Prague in Czech Republic, and he is working with DHL Group, and we are very pleased and privileged to have him join us. He is the head of the Department of AI and Business Solutions, Germany, Post and Parcel Solutions as well. He is at the forefront of AI and cloud data solutions. His leadership has been pivotal in advancing the DHL product lines and driving a 140% increase. 140% increase in revenue year on year. He has mapped strategic digitalization roadmaps leading to significant cost reductions and enhanced business processes through digitized solutions. So he's absolutely the right person to talk to us about GenAI in robotics, gaming, and automation. And over to you, Pramod, for your session.
Yeah, thanks, Kamna. Um, Let me just set up the system. Just give me a minute. I hope everybody can see my screen. Yeah, Kamna, can you see my screen, right?
Yes, yes, I can see your screen.
Perfect.
And I'll just request everyone to engage and be interactive, just like you were in the last session. You can learn a lot in this session as well. So please engage and interact and ask your questions in the question box. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kamna. So first and the foremost thing, welcome to the next 90 minutes of the training on the Gen AI and robotics. So what we'll be learning is how robotics has helping.
The captions are coming in German, I think.
No, it's actually just a second. Let me change it. It was
Oh, okay, okay.
Israeli.
I thought it's some new language.
um,
So while sir is just adjusting, thank you for all the feedback. And if you like the session, please share a video feedback also with me on WhatsApp. That would be also great. And there is a question which I'll take. Umayal is asked, Mr. S. V. Umayal is asking, if we are not completing, we will not be able to take the test. Please try to take the test tomorrow. Otherwise, you have Monday also, Sunday also. You can complete the test on Sunday. We'll be collating the scores on Monday for AICT. Thank you.
I hope it's visible. Yeah.
Yep, visible.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So today's agenda, we will have four sections in the next 90 minutes. So we will be looking into the rise of Gen AI in robotics. I'll be using Gen AI as an acronym, so instead of calling generative AI. And we will talk about what generative AI means. And in the third topic, we'll be talking about integration of Gen AI and robotics and how AI in robotics is used in several industries or in sectors. So that's the agenda. So with that, the session will be a bit interactive in form of videos, and we'll try to be as much as interactive as possible. So please raise your questions in the Q&A section, so it's easier for us to look into the section and then easy to answer it. Um, yeah, so at the end of every session, I'll have a small break in the sense for the Q&A topics, and then we'll go to the next section. So that's the overall approach for this 90 minutes agenda. So let me start off with a small thing. The why. Why are we spending our precious time in learning this? So how there are various trends overall that we have seen right from industrial revolution to the dot-com boom, and now we call the AI boom. So there's a very nice statement which says that AI will not replace humans, but humans using AI will replace humans who don't. So that's the why. Why do we need to understand AI and how we can use AI in our day-to-day activity? So that's why we have, I think NASCOM is running the entire program. So this is a why for a motivation statement. Why do we need to learn AI? So it's imperative that it's part of like industrial revolution, like introduction of computers, then internet, and then we talk about the mobile revolutions, high data on 5G, and now it's AI. So how to use AI to do the work very, very easily, and that will normalize the intelligence um, across our humanity. That would be the viewpoint. With that, I'll go through the agenda. So module one, we'll talk about the rise of generative AI in robotics. Uh, so maybe let me ask a small question here. I hope um, do you remember this diagram on the right hand side? At least this is my thing on robotics. So it was any answers, comment anything that is being typed. Does anybody know what this image?
Ah, sorry, I was on mute. No, no, there are no answers, but there's a
Answers.
question that is it possible to generate a graphical simulation for industrial production? I think we handle it later in the session.
Sure, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Um, at least the little, this is the
Humanoid,
little
humanoid. There
humanoid.
is a answer has come,
Humanoid.
humanoid.
Well, the humanoid is looking nice, what Tesla is doing, but this one is called Giant Robo. Doesn't used to telecast. So my thing, Robo, means this is the Giant Robo series which came in from Japan. It was telecasted like 30, 40 years ago, at least 30 years ago. And so that was my understanding of Robo. That is a huge figure, and it does through your commands, and it does the list of activities, right? And then, and let me start off with a very basic question. The following question would be, do you know the origin of the word robo? If you have, I mean, I'll just give a minute. If you know it, just type your answer. Where does the word robo originated from? 19th century. I'm looking at more of which country, which language. Okay. So the word robo actually came from Czech origin, um, robotica. So that's the word robo. It's called robota. It means that I hope you can see. Yeah, it's called forced labor. It originated in a play from Czech Republic, or at that point in time, it's called Czechoslovakia. So that's how the word robota came. The robo came. So basically, Josef Kapek used this word to describe artificial beings created for work. Those days, Czech Republic used to be the manufacturing hub for Russia, and there were people working around the clock in the factories, and the word robot came from the word robota. So that's the history of the word robo. So with that, we'll start off with the introduction. So robotic design and prototyping. So using generative AI, so generative AI utilizes algorithms to create innovative contents across applications. The technology is very pivotal in driving advancements in robotics and automation sector. So any repetitive job that you want to do in a manufacturing industry is being repeated. It can be performed by a set of predefined instructions, and that can be configured and programmed into, I'll use the word humanoid, and it can do a repetitive work without getting tired, right? And also it can be used for simulation and training. So the Gen AI can be also used in the robotic design as well as in simulation and training. For example, like there is a company called Bohemian Graphics, which does simulations in a war front for training soldiers, right? And it can also be used for training robotics for humanoid soldiers in environment. So this is also used for doing the simulations and training. So these are the two classical use of generative AI in the field of robotics, where we can rapidly design and prototype, and then we can do simulations and training. Now let's look at robotic market in general, right? So if you see on the left-hand side in the graphic, right now, you can see from 2022 to 2032, the generative AI market is on an exponential increase. The robotic market insights is at 15 to 15.2 million in 2022, and there is a projection of a substantial growth of reaching 856 million, or almost close to $1 billion by 2032, with an annual compounded rate of 34.2% year on year, right? So, given the robotics, I mean, if you look at China, which is the forefront of revolution, there are a complete end-to-end process which is being done um, without light, which is being used in the humanoid, which can assemble systems across, right? So that's the thing. So with that, we will slowly look at a small video how robotics are being applied in a DHL robotics in a warehouse. I mean, I think I should stop and share it for the video, right? I mean, I need your help to share. Okay, let me start off. So this is a videos snippet which shows how robotics is used in a supply chain warehouse. Yeah. So in this video, you can see the person who's picking up or packing is completely helped with robots, and they're called pickers and packers. So for an end-to-end supply chain, it's highly automated, and that's how generative AI is helping a complete automation of a warehouse. So that's the current trend on warehouse automation. Let's look at the major companies involved in the robotics market with a view of GenAI. So as you all know that people are already using OpenAI or the chat GPTs. On the robotics end, we have Boston Dynamics, we have NVIDIA, who's providing the GPUs, and Siemens, for example, who is supplying all the accessories for building robotics, right? So they all share and drive innovations across the generative AI landscape. Let's look at a market segmentation from a perspective. So, from a perspective of a robot, you need a hardware, software, and the services as part of the critical segments of market segments. And we will be exclusively talking about the industries where robots are used. So here I would like to mention some of the key applications include healthcare services, automotive sectors. For example, there is a video in YouTube where the manufacturing of entire car factory is done by robots, and the car factory has no lights. The robots will able to assemble the car right from the raw materials to a complete assembling of cars. I think it's called Zero Light Factory in some of the YouTube. You can watch it during your time. So that's an example of some of the key areas, right? So the important key highlights here is the future growth potential, which the market has a significant growth, as you have seen. It's about close about a €1 billion market by 2032, and the insights to the competitive companies are shown above, where the lot of competitions across the market, right from Japan, China, and US, are in the forefront, along with India adding up with Make in India concepts. There are revolutions happening across as well. So these are the key highlights. So with that, I would love to show you what is the digital twin concept and how NVIDIA is transforming a BMW production factory in Hungary in Europe. So let's watch a short video on that.
The world's industries are accelerating digitalization with over $3.4 trillion being invested in the next 3 years. We at BMW strive to be leading edge in automotive digitalization. With NVIDIA Omniverse and AI, we set up new factories faster and produce more efficiently than ever. This results in significant savings for us. It all starts with planning, a complex process in which we need to connect many tools, datasets and specialists around the world. Traditionally, we are limited since data is managed separately in a variety of systems and tools. Today, we've changed all that. We are developing custom Omniverse applications to connect our existing tools, know-how and teams, all in a unified view. Omniverse is cloud native and cloud agnostic, enabling teams to collaborate across our virtual factories from everywhere. I'm about to join a virtual planning session for Debrecen in Hungary, our new EV factory opening in 2025. Let's jump in.
Milan is joining.
Hello everyone.
Hi Milan, great to see you. We're in the middle of an optimization loop for the body shop. Would you like to see?
Thanks, I'm highly interested. And I'd like to invite a friend.
Sure.
Hey Milan, good to see you.
Jensen, welcome to our virtual planning session.
It's great to be here. What are we looking at?
This is our global planning team who are working on a robot cell in Debrecen's digital twin. Matthias, tell us what's happening.
So we've just learned the production concept requires some changes. We are now reconfiguring the layout to add a new robot into the cell.
Okay, but if we add a new robot on the logistics side, we'll need to move our storage container.
All right, let's get this new robot in.
That's perfect. But let's double check. Can we run the cell? Excellent.
Milan, this is just incredible. Virtual factory integration is essential for every industry. I'm so proud to see what our teams did together. Congratulations.
We are working globally to optimize locally. After planning, operations is king. And we've already started. To celebrate the launch of our virtual plant, I'd like to invite you to open the first digital factory with me.
I'd be honored. Let's do it.
Yeah. So, as we saw in the first slide, the simulations, that is called as a digital twin, where you can model the real world factory into a environment, into a simulated environment, and you can look at what if, or depending upon a requirement, you can change the factory setup and see the efficiencies in a production line. So that's what it's explained here. So we have multiverse, we have omniverse. So this is a concept in the digital twin, which is driving how the new age factories, how it's going to operate using NVIDIA. It's more of NVIDIA and BMW. So how NVIDIA is in the center of doing the revolution on the Omniverse product of digital twin. With that, I would be wrapping up the first session, which is the customizations and inquiries, right? There are tailored reports which are available for specific client requirements for the for the potential customers to encourage reach out for assistance. So every company in the world of OpenAI, Omniverse, like from NVIDIA, Digital Twin, and like IBM, Azure, Cloud, for example, from Microsoft, Google, are at the center of delivering the software services on the cloud, hardware, from NVIDIA, from Broadcom, and from Intel chips. They're all in the center of the AI boom. So, in conclusion, from the first part, it's imperative to know what Gen AI, how Gen AI is revolutionizing the robotics in the innovation of design, enhanced training, and the growth in the robotics sector across various transformations in the various industries. So that's in a nutshell of the first part of this module. With that, I will open up if there is any questions or anything that you want to ask on the first module. I will monitor the chat window, so feel free to ask, and then we will jump to the next session. Okay, what about the cost effectiveness in India? It is feasible. Um, a very good question. So it's on business case, right? Um, for example, in Asian markets, right, we are having a working population which is quite high. So it's a trade from a company's strategy perspective. If you want to evolve and if you want to employ fewer, let's say, human capital, and you don't want to disrupt, then you will apply robots. And also there are labor regulations in like working the factory in suppose a labor, for example, in Germany, you are expected there are dimensions. Let's say in a warehouse, for example, you're expected to not to lift beyond 30 kilos, and you're expected that you don't do the same job and ruin the health of a labor. There are regulations in Europe. For example, in Japan, there are aging populations, and hence we don't find people to do work in the factories in the manufacturing sector. China and India, on the other hand, we are very, very populous. But in terms of transformations and quality, zero quality, we need to have uh, we need to have robotics. So it is possible in India, and it's a game changer in terms of chip industry. If you want to have a zero defect product with zero impurities, right, and zero defect, then robotics are there. It is possible and feasible in India. Robot teachers are introduced in Bangalore schools. Uh, okay, so I can do a analogy. Robot teachers is good, but we will lose the human touch. So that's my personal concept. If you look at Sweden and India, they spend so much billions of euros in moving from books to online media, and they accelerated it. And after that, they ran a program, and I think it was in the news in 2024 or 2025. The government of Sweden decided that they will not digitize the media. They will go into a conventional books and handwriting because they're coming back, because that will improve the neuro-linguistic of a person. So there is a reason why people are asked to read, write, because it connects your neuro-linguistic ability. So I don't think that's going to be a big issue, but it has a lot of pros and cons. Indian context, I mean, I can give a personal view. Um, again, it depends upon in which sector. Is it a primary school, secondary school, or a higher secondary school? I think in the universities, people are more into self-learning capability. They have to do research. So to me, in my personal view, employing a robotic teacher in a kindergarten as well as in a primary school, that's a no-go. It it is a no-go. But from a university context, yes, it can be employed, but it tends to the enjoy of learning will have an impact in my view. Uh, they still need people to configure these robots, right? So, and you are into this AI training, so you will upgrade yourself and knowledge to how to configure, because end of the day you should also tell them, right? Um, and actually, if you see ChatGPT, Perplexities, there are so many AI tools available. So even the assignment theses are being done. So from a student perspective, the concept of learning is decreasing, and the depth of the learning is also being decreased. So if you give a problem to a student, he uses ChatGPT or other tools to run and get the things done, but he does not understand how it is generating those answers for your assignments, for example. You don't need to code them. Traditionally, 20 years ago, we used to run lines and lines of code. Now it's a pictorial drag and drop. Uh, I think there are other courses within the module where you have seen how you can do drag and drop. You need to understand the flow, come up with a flow chart, and it's more of drag and drop coding available at this point in time. It's called low code, no code platform. I will go back to the slides. I'm just looking at looking at the questions. So I'll go to the module 2. I'll reshare the slides. So now let's talk about the generative AI, the module 2 part. All right. So now let's understand what is GenAI, because people are talking about GenAI, chat GPTs, right? What does this actually do? And because people kind of think that I can automate everything through digitalization, and this word Gen AI is misleading, right? So we just need to understand what a generative AI means and how it works. So I will show you in a minute, in a small explanation in a form of a video, how the generative AI works. And here we will be in this module, we'll be seeing about a couple of videos to explain what does generative AI means and how it really works. With that, we will go. And there are models which is being developed, and what is a model, um, and what is a token means, right? So if you go and buy a ChatGPT premium version for $20, what you actually get out of it, right? They call tokens. You get so many tokens and you use it, but what does it actually mean? How does it work? That is explained in this module. So let me click this.
Meet Emma, a graphic designer working on a new project. One day, her colleague mentions a tool that helps create designs, images, and text using AI. Intrigued, Emma wonders how AI can create something from scratch. Her curiosity grows, and she decides to dive deeper into this new technology called Generative AI. Generative AI refers to a type of artificial intelligence designed to create new content, such as text, images, music, and videos. Unlike traditional AI, which analyzes or categorizes data, generative AI produces original content based on patterns learned from vast datasets. Essentially, it generates new, unique material. These models are often trained on large amounts of data and use sophisticated algorithms to mimic human creativity. Tools like ChatGPT or DALL-E can create art, write essays, or simulate conversations by generating outputs based on user prompts. Generative AI has a wide range of applications. Content creation. Tools like GPT-4 generate text, blog posts, stories, and essays from simple prompts. Art and design. AI models such as DALL-E generates unique images and designs based on text descriptions, transforming creativity in art. Music and audio. AI can compose music or replicate voices, offering new possibilities for musicians and audio engineers. Healthcare. Generative AI simulates disease progression or creates synthetic medical data, helping doctors gain faster insights for research. Let's take image generation as an example to explain how generative AI works. Data collection and learning. AI models like DALL-E are trained on large datasets of images paired with text descriptions. These datasets teach the model to recognize different objects, colors, styles, and how to associate text with corresponding images. The more data the AI learns from, the better it can generate accurate and diverse images based on user prompts. Neural networks and transformers. When Emma inputs a prompt like a cat wearing sunglasses, the transformer model processes the text, recognizing words like cat and sunglasses, and links them to images it learned from during training. Transformers help the AI decide how to combine these elements into a coherent image. Tokens and context. The text input, such as a cat wearing sunglasses, is split into smaller parts called tokens. The AI processes each token and understands their relationship. For instance, it knows the sunglasses should be placed on the cat, creating a contextually accurate image. Feedback mechanism. Generative AI models improve through feedback. After generating an image, users provide feedback on the accuracy or quality of the output. If Emma's generated image shows the sunglasses floating beside the cat, she can mark it as incorrect. The model uses this feedback to improve future image generations. Reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning further enhances the AI's ability. The model is rewarded when it generates accurate images and corrected when it makes mistakes. For example, when Emma describes a sunset and the AI produces a vibrant sunset image, it receives positive reinforcement. Over time, this method refines the model's ability to generate better images. Data science and AI models. Data scientists curate the training data and define the parameters that help the AI generate accurate images. The more varied the dataset, the more versatile the AI becomes in generating diverse types of content. Advanced models use billions of parameters, which are settings that guide the AI in processing data and generating outputs. Generating original content. Once trained, the model can generate original images. For example, Emma might describe a futuristic cityscape, and the AI would produce a unique image based on what it learned. The generated image isn't just a copy of past data, but an entirely new creation, showcasing the AI's ability to combine learned patterns and creativity. Now let's have a quick fun quiz on what we have learned so far. What does generative AI primarily do? A. Analyze data. B. Generate new content. C. Store data. Make sure to let us know your answer in the comment section below
for a chance to win an Amazon voucher.
If you are interested in learning AI,
Yep. Let's look at the last question. Um, what does generative AI primarily do? So I just want to get your answers in the chat window. Analyze data, generate the new content, store data. Yeah, I think most of you are saying B, generate new content. But yeah, so the answer is, I think here the devil's in the details. What does it primarily do? It generates new content. I think how it is being done, it is using analyzing the data, stores the data, then we say all, but I think most of you got it correct. Its answer is B, generate new contents. Um, so let me go back. go back to the content here. So that's how the AI works, right? In terms of what tokens, you know what it means, you know what models, what transformers is, what is reinforced learning. These are all the key terminologies one needs to understand on the generative AI on an introduction level, right? So with that, let's look at what is the impact on the sectors, for example, right? The generative AI, there is a boon and a bane part of it, right? So let's look at from an IT world, for example. Um, there are programmers, this is called agentic agents who can do programming, right? I have a developer agents, I have a testing agents, I have a manager agent who can coordinate and to generate a piece of software. It can be done, right? Especially in the content creators, blog creations. I think everybody would be using the chat GPT to write a content. So previously, if you look at the traditional Microsoft Word, it has spellings and corrections, and now they have introduced Copilot, which means that you can set the tone of your writing. And right now, you if you know how to use AI properly, I think everybody becomes a very fluent English proficient. So that's how you will use you. If you know how to use an AI, you can fill up your gaps in terms of the language proficiency. That's an example, right? I would like to, I mean, also show you a video on robotic kitchen, how you can have a Michelin star rating or a food being cooked and served by robots. So that's a view of how robots are also used in our day-to-day cooking. So let's watch this part as well. So this video shows Spice, which is in Boston, which does the robotic cooking. So you don't need to go through, you don't see any chef being
As
cooked.
robotics-obsessed engineers, we set out to create a new, efficient way of cooking food. Our woks cook by constantly tumbling your food, which provides a really nice and even sear. They're heated with induction, and we have temperature control to perfectly cook your meal every time.
From our humble starts in our fraternity basement, we developed a prototype that really sort of proved we could build something that can create delicious, high-quality meals.
I needed to come to Boston. I discovered that the robotic kitchen brings precision, consistency, taste, and also freshness to the preparation.
Yeah. So that's a robotics transformation on the food industry. Now, let's look at generative AI in robotics, right? So we talk about prompts. Prompts are nothing but what statements that you put into the software, or let's say in ChatGPT, that will able to code. You've already seen it, and there's something called generative augmentation, right? And how generative augmentation is used in enhancing robotic capabilities. If I go back to the first module, right, how we are training the robotics to work properly in an environment through a large set of data. And we also talk about in the generative in the module 2 how the regenerative AI works, that we need to give feedback and how it learns automatically, right? So let's talk about what generative augmentation means and how generative AI is used to run this and helps to increase the precision and decrease the time to market. Let's look at it from a concept of or a self-driving car, right? So, for example, Tesla and other companies starts collecting the driving data from the various environments, the various kinds of drivers, and the terrain. And they use this data to give an input to the self-driving software. And they use generative augmentation technology to enhance the self-driving capability for driving cars. Typically, what you normally do, earlier approaches, you try to build a software or a robo and you try to run the car across various environments in the testing to build a software. But generative augmentation changes the approach of how the robotics are trained. So let's explain it through a small video as well on that part.
In this work, we present GenAug, retargeting behaviors to unseen situations via generative augmentation. Current robot imitation learning systems often require humans to provide demonstrations. While this method may succeed in environments that are similar to the training set, they often fail in environments that are far from training distribution. Our system GenAug closes this gap by automatically generating a large and diverse set of training data using text-to-image generative models. Given a demonstration on one simple environment, GenAug can automatically change the texture of the objects in the scene, change the object classes, change the table and background appearance, and add distractor objects. So starting from the initial single environments, we can automatically generate a much larger and more diverse dataset. Here we show more visualizations. We use a 6-valve Exoma robot with a vacuum gripper mounted on the large table with an Intel RealSense camera mounted on the tripod. Given a few demonstrations of a behavior in a simple environment and the associated text prompt, our goal is to transfer this behavior to any unknown scenes. To do this, a user generates a small dataset by specifying pick and place locations. These 2D locations are projected to the 3D points in the robot coordinates using calibrated depth maps. We then apply GenAug to create a large and diverse dataset and train a language-guided imitation learning model. Here we show our real-world experiments. By training on the dataset extrapolated from only 10 demonstrations in the simple environment on the left, the robot is able to solve the task in entirely different environments on the right. Here we show another example with a new training object pair. Note that the demonstrations were collected in a relatively simpler scene. The right shows zero-shot transfer to complex scenes with dense clutter. Our system can also generalize to unseen object categories. This implies that agents with behaviors demonstrated with one set of objects can now transfer to other unseen compatible objects.
So if you see here, it's picking up a plate, it's picking up a wood block. So that's what they say, unseen pick. So typically a robo can pick up any unseen objects previously. So it's a plate, it's a book, it's a bowl, and a soup plate, I think, or a salt container in the last one.
Here we show more real-world results.
So basically, it's a let's say assume this is a kitchen helper robo. Every household is different, and how the gen org can be used to train. So you try to let's say this household help robo, which can do the cleaning of all the mess created across, let's say, from kids to unorganized
Thank
adults.
you for
So
watching.
so this is an example how a robo is trained on a different environment. So that's the gen argumentation or gen
In this
org.
work, we present GenOg, retargeting behaviors to unseen situations.
Gen org, how it is used for reducing the time to market and training the robo, what we have seen in how it is used from a robotics part, right? So I think just to recap, what does gen org means, right? And then how different is it in a traditional training methods that we have seen, right? So robots are trained through imitations, learning, and replacing behaviors for a demo purpose, while gen augmentation enhances the training features. So you can train the robo in the various scenarios, various objects, in the various things, the image augmentation techniques, right? So the shape of the objects can be changed, etc. So you can bring in the distractor. So especially in the field of self-driving cars, you can try to simulate the environment in driving the same car in a disciplined road as well as in a car in a busy street. For example, in Florence in Italy, where you have people, they don't follow much is as equal to the Indian roads, where they two-wheeler can go and they don't follow a lane discipline, so they can be used for self-driving car automations. So that's an example of how images are used to fast track the self driving capability in a car, right? Um, so let's look at how the evaluation of GenAI, I think, works, and how the performance evaluation shows that the success factors, the robots which are being placed in an unforeseen environment, the success factors are quite high when compared to use a robot through imitations and not using a GenAI. So that is shown in this video. And from a future prospect perspective, um, the current tasks are simplistic, while Gen Org holds a promise for real-world applications. You can train the robotics in any factors across anywhere in the world, right? From a conclusion statement, the generative AI is revolutionizing both right from a content creation to a robotic training in a simulations. There are advancement which is keep on happening on the Gen AI, which makes the robo faster, smarter, and more adaptable to a human condition. So that's the gist of um, the module two. And let's close off the module two with this meta AI part.
Generative AI is a new breed of artificial intelligence that's designed to learn and create new things on its own. It has the ability to produce art, music, and even writing that can mimic human creativity.
So generative AI refers to a type of AI model that automates the creation of content.
Most of AI in last couple of decades has been about analyzing existing data that includes predicting likelihood of failures in systems, detecting frauds, recommending items for purchase, or goal image search that return similar image. Generative AI is very different as it allows you to create new content. Generative AI models use complex algorithms and deep learning techniques to analyze and learn from large datasets in order to create new and original content. These models are trained on a vast amount of data and then use that knowledge to create new content that is similar to what they have learned. Generally, the content generated by generative AI is very similar to the data that they have been trained on. To bring variety in training data and regenerate targeting behaviors to unseen situations, generative augmentation is generally used. Generative augmentation is a technique in machine learning that involves generating synthetic or artificial data to augment existing training data. This is done to improve the performance of machine learning model by increasing the size and diversity of the training dataset, which can help further improve the accuracy and robustness of the model. Generative augmentation can be achieved through various methods such as generative adversarial networks, variational autoencoders, and other deep learning models that generate new data based on the pattern characteristics of the existing data. By doing this, the generated data can be used to supplement the existing dataset, providing a wide range of examples for the model to learn from. For example, in image classification, generated augmentation can be used to create new images that are similar to the existing images but with variation in lighting, angle, or background. This can help the model to learn to recognize objects under different conditions, leading to better performance when faced with real-world problems. Robot learning methods and generative augmentation are the two important techniques in the field of robotics and machine learning. While they are separate techniques, they can be used together to create more robust and effective robots. We have already learned about generative augmentation. Let's look at robot learning methods and what they are. Robot learning methods involves teaching robots to learn and adapt to new situations and environments using various types of machine learning techniques such as supervised learning, reinforcement learning, and deep learning. These techniques allow robots to learn from their experience, make decisions, and interact with their environment in a more intelligent and autonomous way. In robotics, generative augmentation can be used to create synthetic data that represents new and unseen situations or environments, which can then be used to train deep learning models. This can help robots to learn to adapt to new and unseen situations and environments, making them more effective and versatile in a wider range of tasks. For example, in robot navigation, generative augmentation can be used to create synthetic data that represents new and diverse environments, such as different layouts, obstacles, and lighting conditions. This can help robot learning methods to learn to navigate in a more robust and generalized way, improving their performance in a real-world situation. For robot learning to generalize, we must be able to leverage sources of data or priors beyond robots' own experience. Recently, Facebook released GenAug, a model for generative augmentation for real-world data collection. GenAug are image text generation models, which are pre-trained on large corpus of web scrape data. They show that despite these generative models are being trained on largely non-robotic data, they can serve as an effective way to impart priors into the process of robot learning in a way that enables widespread generalization. In particular, they show how pre-trained generative models can serve as an effective tool for semantically meaningful data augmentation. Let's hear from them how this model actually works.
Current robot imitation learning.
Yeah, I think this goes back to the same video that what we have seen before. So I'm pausing it here. So with that, we complete the module two. I'll take questions if there's any on the module two. Let me look at okay, that's good to know that in India also we have RoboChef coming up. Yes, it's used in the medical field in training missions by X-rays. In fact, I think the Google has announced how The changes are being done in the cancer treatment with the reinforcement learning on the Gen AI part as well. I think also, yes, that's correct. Uh, yeah. Any questions on module two? Feel free to type. If not, I will move to the third module. Yes, robotic surgeries are being done. The robo surgeries are popular. It's coming up, and the doctor can sit remotely, and then with the 5G network, they're able to precisely configure and do it. Yeah, that's also there. It's covered mainly. It's the fourth module. You can see how robotics is being used in the various fields. So, in the key takeaway for module two, one should know what GenArc is, what is a model, and how, let's say, how the generative AI works, like the tokens, regenerations, etc. What's an algorithm, what data, right? And if you look at from an Indian perspective context, um, there are huge AI data centers which are being planned that requires a lot of compute power, that also requires a lot of energy as well from the grid. So putting up an AI data center is not that easy because you need compute, you need to run uh, at a massive power is required. So, for example, Microsoft is looking at developing data centers for AI in remote locations, and they are looking at using nuclear reactors. So, there's a whole lot of things happening on the data center for AI coming up as well. So, that one should know. Let me go through. Mishaps, I mean, I can give a European context perspective. Um, so end of the day, it's a legislation. So at least in Czech Republic, robotic surgeries are there, and it is governed by the doctor. So if any mishap happens, it's still the doctor who's performing the surgeries through a robot is responsible, and his license is cancelled. I think from an Indian context, I think people, I mean, it's pity that people get away with the ignorance and they're not given right information on what's happening. So it's an ethical concept. I think we have to packet that question about the ethics in AI. Yeah, that's correct. Let me go through the module three. In the module three, what we talk about is agents. There are companies like Meta, which is the Facebook, Instagram, right? WhatsApp, who owns this group of softwares or applications. They are working on the embodied AI agents. So somebody talked about humanoids robots, right? So Tesla is also working on humanoid robots. I think there was a display where it did not work well. There was a troll on Tesla's humanoid experiments, right? And what are embodied AI agents? So these are agents that are humanoid robot capability for performing various tasks. If you visited Singapore, there are policing to robots which happens in Singapore. They already started that. And this combines various advanced softwares and hardware features that also does the interaction of mobility. I think there are some robotic agents which are also helping passengers in, let's say, in airports, so that they get into the flights, right? So these are all embodied AI agents. It's something equivalent to a robo. Robo is an old word, let's say in the old word used, but now they call as embodied agents or humanoids, for example. I think I think in Japan, they were trying to build robotic soldiers where it went to hallucination and started firing the own creators, and they had to shut down the facility because the robo went spiraled out and then started hallucinating and started killing. So these are all some of the disadvantages as well. If things goes Wild West, then yeah, it's an issue. So these are all some of the challenges that we face in the robotics perspective. The current generative AI methods face limitations as well. For example, there's a Moravec's paradox, which we call, which highlights the sensory motor skills. We can't imitate humans 100%, and they are harder in the abstract reasoning. So that goes back to the question, right? So can the teachers be replaced by robotic teachers? So there you go, the answer. So from it comes, it's not everything can be simulated in the robots at this point in time. The abstract reasoning, the sensory motor skills, the empathy, so that cannot be replicated in robots, right? So when a student having difficulty in the university in learning, yeah, the robots can tell and teach you the concept, but empathy, emotional thing cannot be replaced in the robots. So that's not available at this point in time. But let's see, there are researches going on that part. Let's talk about computational resources. What do I mean by computational resources? The hardware. For example, sensory motors, perception skills requires a computational power. And already we've seen how China is, I think, regulating the rarer metals for the, let's say, for the GPUs or for robotics, for EV vehicles. There is a supply chain issue already happens. So this requires a lot and lot of computational power that goes back to the AI data centers, that goes back to the grid electricity generation. So there is a whole lot of ecosystem. So from a sensory and perception skill, it requires a lot and lot of resources. So that makes it very challenging for embodied AI agents to come and look like a real human being. So some of the Meta solutions. So Meta has built this artificial visual cortex to mimic human visual processing. The eyes, for example, how to perceive things and how to do it. There are loads and loads. It's available in phase from Meta, also from Google, and also we have the computer vision from Microsoft Azure as well. So this model aids robots to learn the fundamental motor skills and the depth of perceptions. For example, Ego 4D dataset has Meta has compiled this dataset, which is a worth of 3,670 hours of human performing task. So that is used for training, right? So this data set is also used for Boston Dynamics. Going back, Boston Dynamics is a company which which you have seen, which creates robots. From the videos that we have seen, that robotic dog which can carry a huge weight in the front of wars, for example, or it can be used to carry heavy weight in terms of warehouses, for example. So these are all the various applications, how this data set is used by the Boston Dynamics to deliver the robo capability for various applications, right? Some of the practical applications of AI robots, as I already mentioned, robo surgeries is there. Robo can perform household tasks like cooking. It can be also doing, for example, house help. And already, if you see in Japan, there are a lot of things are coming up. Um, Even a robotic wife, I think I've seen in Japan, there are building the concept of families being disrupted by the humanoids as well, right? So this is also important. Let's talk about data privacy, right? That's a whole evolution of concept because you need to work with the data. Primarily, all the companies, let's take Meta, for example, you have Instagram. It listens to your conversation. It targets advertisements to your conversations. It takes your data, your let's say your browsing histories, and it collects the data and then tries to target advertisement for your perspective. And it also uses the data for training. For example, Amazon has bought this iRobo, right? And the iRobo has a, a capability that it scans your household and how it can be used for cleaning. This data is used by Amazon and can be used for selling the products what you might require. So that's an example. And assuming that this data is processed in US, you're sitting in India, there is an issue, right? And that's the whole concept of the Data Privacy Act comes in. For example, in Europe, we have GDPR, which is the data protection for the personal data. The India is coming up with a concept, and that's why you see more and more the data is kept within India. Already, China is in the uh, pioneer in the forefront that you can have Google. Google is not allowed in China. They have the Google version for China alone. There is no data can be taken out from China to elsewhere. Russia, for example, also has a privacy law. All the data for the Russia has to stay within the Russian Federation within the country. So this is something about data privacy. There's a whole concept of data privacy comes in, but this raises a significant concerns about privacies and uses of personal data, right? There are potential risks involved, as we see before, that it could collect sensitive informations and uses unknowingly that can be used. That can include personal habits, health informations, daily activities. For example, if you're using Samsung Health, for example, it starts collecting the data. You read your instruction, you say, I agree, and you submit, which means that it collects the data. And for example, there is a trend, like for example, Meta, Facebook, when they started doing it, oh, you upload a picture, we'll show you how you will be at age of 60. And that's an example of you uploading your information of data, your photograph, and you giving the agreement that the photo can be reused and he can reuse the data for his training or for other purposes. In fact, Germany has released a educational video for the parents not to upload kids' photograph into the media, mainstream media like Facebook, Instagram, other social media, because it is misused. So this is an example of how things are evolving and very important to know about data privacy. Um, and the last for this side is the business model consideration. Meta might initially sell robotic technologies at a loss. That's in every business to encourage adoptions. But once it sees the adoptions, you have seen the year-on-year 35% growth rate, and it can be one of the pioneers, one of the leading in the robotics industry, competing with Boston Dynamics, for example. So there are privacy-centric competitors. For example, the Tesla called Optimus Robot, for example. Um, so innovations like could compromise your privacy. So these are all some of the concerns that you have. So as we conclude the session or module 3, the integration of GenAI and robotic presence is an exciting opportunities. It has challenges. It has a long way to develop as well in terms of sensories and emotional capabilities, but also it has concerns on the data as well, right? Let's look at, we talk about Boston Dynamics, and let's look at, let's conclude the module 3 by watching what Dynamics, how it puts Atlas to work.
Boston Dynamics just dropped new videos of its 100% electric Atlas robot. This is the first time the company has shared videos of this version of Atlas doing something like work, and the first time the company has shown it correcting a mistake. We're digging into the details, so let's get into it. When turning around, Atlas's torso and legs turn in different directions. Given the fully autonomous label on this demo, it could be reasonable to assume the robot made the decision to move that way. Whether it did it because it saves time or energy, I can't say. Pop-ups in the video give us a sense of the robot's vision system and how it marks the different bins it's reaching into. About halfway through this demo, one of the engine covers, that's the item Atlas is moving around, appears to snag, causing the robot to react, reposition, and correct its mistake autonomously. We've seen similar demos from other robotics companies. Figure showed its Figure 2 robot picking up and placing auto parts, even appearing to correct some of its mistakes. Tesla's Optimus robot was also recently shown doing various work tasks, first at the company's We Robot event. However, after reports came out that indicated the robots were human-assisted at the event, Tesla dropped a video showing Optimus in a lab setting doing many similar tasks labeled as autonomous. Another video posted by Boston Dynamics on Halloween shows Atlas doing the same task it did in the previous video while wearing a hot dog costume. In this example, someone dressed as a pickle moves the bins, Atlas catches another snag, and is able to react, reposition, and finish the task. This is the first time Boston Dynamics has shown its new electric Atlas in a work setting. The announcement video shows Atlas rising up off the ground and moving around, demonstrating the robot's hypermobility. At the time, Boston Dynamics said it was developing new grippers, or hands, for Atlas. Later, the company appeared to make good on that promise in a YouTube short. In this video, Atlas did some push-ups with what appeared to be grippers styled like fingerless nubs. Now we're seeing Atlas for the first time with finger-like appendages. Based on the movement shown in these new videos, it looks like Boston Dynamics has applied the same principles of hypermobility to them as they have to the rest of the robot. You can see the finger starts on the bottom to help lift the engine cover, then swivels up to pinch and hold the auto part as the robot carries it to its destination. These new videos of Atlas strutting its autonomous stuff come just weeks after Boston Dynamics and Toyota Research Institute, TRI, announced a partnership to develop AI and robotics. TRI has been working toward the development of a large behavior model, similar to a large language model that generates human-like behaviors instead of text. Boston Dynamics will supply the hardware, and TRI will be supplying the AI. TRI has also been hard at work in the field of self-driving and self-drifting cars. Tesla, one of Boston Dynamics' competitors in the humanoid robotic space, has touted the self-driving features of its cars as a helpful foundation for building out the type of AI needed to power humanoid robots. As Boston Dynamics works toward the commercialization of its humanoid robot technology, it's interesting to see the company partnering with an automotive AI company. Things are really heating up in the humanoid robotics world. Subscribe to CNET for the latest.
Yeah. So that's a gist of Boston Dynamics and how things are evolving. So with that, let me quickly check if there's any question. Yeah, that's correct, Roshan. So Rohan, yeah, it was a long time ago, this news, that it's broadcasting the data of the house. Any questions on the module 3? If not, we will go with the final module. Okay. So the final module is how AI is used in the various groundbreaking applications, exploring innovations in various industries. That's what we're going to talk about. I think we have already touched base some of the examples in the previous 3 modules. So it'll be a quick run. So let's start off with AI in robotics. So some of the information might be repeated as well. So robotic industry evolved in 1960s. There are close about 3 million industrial robots are currently enhancing various sectors globally, right? We have seen overview of AI in robotics, right from it helps in creating intelligent environments and for better automations. It also uses the computer vision. I mean, if you have free time, explore Microsoft Azure Computer Vision as well, how it recognizes the images. For example, in China, they've used video camera surveillance. So you can it can detect through your sensories, let's say how you look. It can connect to the database and see whether you're a wanted person for a particular crime. So it helps to scan and it helps to reduce the crime rate, for example. If you're entering into an airport, let's say if there's any issue with this person, like for example, like a person who's sick can start harming in an airport, for example. So you can look at the videos and is used for security purpose. So that's an example where you have a real-time profiling of people, which happens in secured areas like airports, for example. Right. And then intelligent programming, we talk about low code, no code, agentic AI programmers, for example, or vibe coding they call. Reinforcement learning, we already spoken about that as well. And we also seen the robotic market is valued at about close about 7 billion in 2021, and it's forecasted to reach about 35.5 billion by 2026 with an annual growth rate of 36.6%. Right. So let's see some of the key use cases in robots. For example, in agriculture, in manufacturing, in healthcare, transportation, smart home applications, aerospace. Let's be specific as well in terms of agriculture. Robots are enhances the process efficiencies in increasing the crop yield. There are already drones being applied for pest management. They look at models of how weather can impact the yield of the crop. There are combined harvesters like robotic hand picking, crop harvesting, and weeding, which happens already. So these are some of the applications which is used in AI in agriculture. Robot picking can identify pick fruits through the machine learning, through the image recognition using a computer vision. Yeah, I mean, people might think why robots is used for picking, because from an Indian context or China context perspective, the human capital is very, very huge, while in Europe or in Japan, the human capital is very rare. For example, people they have tourism in Greece and in Italy right now, like olive picking. People are given seasonal visas to come and pick up olives in the gardens and help them to stay in a farmhouse. So again, there are using robotics as well, but there are certain tasks which they want to have the human flavor, so they use this. So you can see how robots are used in agriculture field, for example. In harvesting, for example, you need to know like how AI robots is used to determine a weed and a non-weed. For example, using laser weeds, computer vision, they eliminate weeds as well. AI in manufacturing, we have seen a lot of videos how robots are being used in assembling, welding, quality inspection of robots. We have seen in Omniverse, in BMW, for example, on the factory assembly line. We have seen Boston Dynamics video on how the humanoid slash Optimus, again, I'm using that from Tesla context, how it is used for automating in automobile industry, for example. Damage and control quality inspections. Robot can inspect for damages, reduction. For example, if there's a nuclear reactor and there is an accident, you do not want to send a human being, but robots can go and fix it. That's an example of how damage quality control can happen in an harmful environment. Also, AI in aerospace. The NASA's Perseverance of rover explores Mars. You don't need to send humans or, let's say, to the ISS space stations. You can use robotics to do your research and development in space. And if you want to explore deep space, again, there's an option because we are traveling at over beyond 100 years. So the explorations can be done through robots. Airbus, for example, Simon 2 is an experimental astronauts, which they are doing it for US NASA. I've already talked about nuclear waste management, where it is used. Robotics, we already spoke already. There is surgery being done by robots. For example, 2D disinfectant uses for hospitalizations using UV, for example. So sanitization health, I think we have known this from COVID times. AI is used in transportation. We have self-driving cars, self-driving trucks coming up. Um, there are companies like Cruise, Waymo, for example, and Perspective Automata. They are leading in this space of transportation. We have smart home applications like iRobo, for example, AI robots used for household purpose, including cleaning and security. Example, Amazon Astro Bot acts like a virtual assistant for security monitor. These are all some of the key trends that you have seen, right? So the important thing is responsible AI. So responsible AI, what it means is when we use AI agents, it should be on a fair and it should mitigate biases. It should be transparent and it should be able to explain. It should be ethically governed. So already we have seen a lot of questions being raised on the ethical part in field of robotic surgeries, for example. So this has to be governed and emphasis through, let's say, it can be a law. Already EU is working or pledged about 1 billion euros for AI. They are working out with EU AI Act, for example, which will come into effect next year already. So in terms of conclusion, it is good to use generative AI in robotics, which is shaping up tomorrow, but we need to harness with the responsibility. It has revolutionized multiple industries in automating complex tasks. It fosters collaboration, but in my view, with a pinch of salt. So with that, I would conclude the session for the 4 modules. I will open up. We have last 6 minutes. If there's any question, when we can interact in the Q&A. Thank you for listening for almost 90 minutes for the session. Any questions?
This is the right time. The last 5 minutes, if there's any questions. I'm just seeing the question box.
Okay. Is it possible to generate graphical simulations for industrial production? Yes, that's called digital twin. Example, Omniverse from NVIDIA does it. Can we do robo for tasks which is very difficult, which for humans too? Other works can be done by humans. Yeah, that we have already seen. Yes, the second question is yes, we can do. That you've seen in the last module of the 4th module.
There's one comment from Mr. Espional, why data is not so secure in India as it is in China.
Yes, that's the policy, right? From day one, China has emphasized data is the next oil they call, right?
Yep.
So data is very, very crucial. So China wants not to export the data to elsewhere, while India is realizing that, and India is also a huge market, and there are policies which also evolved, like sharing the data. A lot of frauds which happens through this data, which is not secured. So that's why right now the Data Act is coming up for India as well. So we are responding a bit late, while all the apps, like for example, India has regulated all the Chinese apps, so we're not exporting data to China, right? That's one of the emphasis being done. There are other US companies which are doing it, but we are a bit late, but still it is there, it is coming up.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Umayal. It's the comment, more like a comment, not a question. And Mr. Anantnath is saying that, I mean, a lot of thank yous are coming your way, which you can read in the chat. So thank you
Sure,
for that
thanks.
session. And if any one of you wants to share a video feedback, record on WhatsApp and share it with me, we can post it on the social media also. We can do that. And thank you so much, Dr. Pramod. Thank you for that session. It was really interesting, and we can see from the comments that the participants really gained from it. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope to bring you back on for the next cohort, which is starting from November 10th. And all the faculty members, thank you for joining in. We will close the session today. And if any of you feel that you want to share this course with your students or any of the Future Skills Prime courses with your students, please message me. And we will share the PPTs on the WhatsApp group. Dr. Pramod, if you can share your PPT with me, I'll share it with the participants.
Sure,
Thank
I'll
you
do
so
that.
much to Dr. Pramod and to all the respected faculty members for joining in the session. And see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Tomorrow, the FDP is starting from 2 o'clock. So please, everyone, be on time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.